Hi, friends. Welcome back. I'm Emily,
And I'm Whitney.
and you're listening to Cousins Talk Crime.
I've had a busy week. I feel like I've just been nonstop with work.
I feel like you're busy all the time.
Yeah.
That's just your life.
Between work and the boys, yeah.
Just busy, busy, busy.
What have you been up to?
Well, this week, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I sure can tell. We upgraded our cameras.
Yes.
Thanks to all of our awesome Patreon people. You guys joining us with this has already given us the ability that we can upgrade some equipment to make things better. So I'm super duper excited about that, and we can't thank you guys enough. So yeah, I had that to do this week, and we don't usually talk about sports, but the Colts football schedule came out this week. Really excited about that. My parents got season tickets for us next year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. So I'm excited about all the games I want to go to. I can't wait to watch the Colts kick
So
the
you guys
Texans'
have
butts.
season tickets.
Yep.
So you can go anytime.
Yep. It's going to be, they got 4 season tickets. And so it'll be my parents, me and my husband, and then my brother and his family, or dad might take some friends.
Yeah.
My parents bought them.
Right.
And we're all just kind of sharing them. But it'll be fun. We're going to have a blast. We love going to Colts games.
I can't tell you I think the last Colts game I went to was with your mom, your dad, you, and your brother.
Really? We went to a Colts game together?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
know
remember
I
this.
went with Matt, and I feel like your mom and dad.
Why wasn't I there?
You
Because I
might
don't
have been.
remember this.
Daniel went with me too.
Daniel? Was this
Mhm.
first time you and Daniel? Or
Yeah.
since the...
No, this was a long time ago.
Oh my gosh. I don't remember this.
Yeah.
I don't remember it.
Or we met you guys there. Because yeah. I know, we were in rooms, doing face paint and stuff, with your mom and Matt.
Okay, I feel like
Are
something's coming back to me now.
Back?
I feel like
I have pictures
that time
of
was
it.
a bajillion years ago.
Yeah.
Face paint. When you did say that, I did kind of remember that.
Yeah.
Wow, you just unlocked a memory for me. I don't remember that.
I think that's the last time I've been.
Yeah. So, anyway. Well, you got to get into football. You got to get into Kansas City Chiefs football.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of Taylor.
I do like some Kansas City Chiefs.
I
really just like Taylor Swift, watching Taylor Swift at the games.
Yeah. Did you see, it's been all over TikTok, but did you see the Kansas City Chiefs football player that made
this petition to get him off the team?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. And I guess he quoted Taylor Swift. What was he thinking?
He was thinking oh, Taylor Swift and Kansas City, we're this now.
I don't think she probably thought that was a good speech.
I don't think any woman thought that was a good... his wife probably came home and said, "What were you thinking?"
Right.
You a dummy.
Yeah, I don't know what he wasn't thinking. No, that's not good.
Did he say women should have more babies than thoughts? Is that what he said?
He said something about wishing it was still the 1950s, where women just stayed home and were barefoot and pregnant.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, he's probably done for.
Yeah, no, he is done for. All I've seen today is that. All over Facebook, all over Twitter.
I mean, I guess they say any press is good press, so maybe he'll find the light at the end of the tunnel.
Maybe.
Maybe it's a divorce. Who knows? If that's how he sees his wife.
I know.
She's like, really? My biggest dreams in life are to be your wife
Right.
and mother your children. Like, I love my kids.
Right.
Anyway.
Crazy.
Okay. I guess we can, oh, meant to mention, we have another duck to add today. And this duck is for Missy.
This is you. And we're going to put you up on my little shelf bag here.
Yes. So, like I said previously, if you want a duck dedicated to you in our stream, you can head on over to Patreon and subscribe to the best friend tier. So I think Whitney is bringing our case this week. What you got
Yes, I
for
am.
us?
So, my case, and this won't shock you all, but it is a missing persons case.
Shocker. I think that's all you've done so far is missing person.
Yeah, besides the bonus episode I did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the, I guess,
Oh, with
Eva,
it had
yeah.
some more ties in there, but
Yeah.
yeah. This one is still an active missing person case.
Oh my gosh.
And this one's really crazy. Okay, so this missing person case takes place in Thorntown, Indiana. Shannon Sherrill, she was wearing a white sundress with blue trim and had no socks or shoes on. And she went missing on October 5th. And they said it was an unusually warm day for October.
Okay.
And her and about 10 other kids were playing hide and go seek outside. And that's when she went missing. The kids say that she was there and then she was just gone because they interviewed the kids afterwards. Shannon was last seen at her family's trailer home in the 600 block of Plum Street in Thorntown, Indiana on October 5th, 1986. She was playing a game of hide and seek with about 10 other children at approximately 1:30 p.m. Cheryl disappeared from behind the trailer and has never been seen or heard from again.
So just broad daylight, she
Broad
disappears.
daylight. Barefoot, playing outside, hide and go seek. With about 10 other kids.
How does this happen?
An extensive search of the area produced little evidence as to her whereabouts. No one saw her leave the yard. Bloodhounds traced Shannon's scent to a nearby cornfield and cemetery, then lost the trail the day she disappeared. But I did want to bring this part up because this was an actual newspaper. This was like the day after she went missing. It says dozens of town people and police officers secured the western area last night for signs of 6-year-old girl who vanished Sunday afternoon. And it talks about the bloodhound that got brought in and it picked up her scent into a cemetery, which is about 600 yards from her mother's mobile home. The dog couldn't pick up any trail beyond the cemetery. Shannon's zigzagging path indicates that she probably got lost, but there's no evidence of foul play at this time. This was, like I said, the day, they were still kind of, I feel like, looking for her, not treating it
as anything weird.
Yeah. The mom, Dorothy Sherrill, she said that the girl never walked away from the home without telling them. Her dad, Mike Sherrill, said that she doesn't even like the dark. So, like, for her not to, come home or come out. It says Stacy Wellington, a next door neighbor who was playing with Shannon, said, "When I turned around, she was gone." Dorothy Sherrill called Boone County Police 20 minutes after Shannon vanished. A massive search involving as many as 200 police officers and local volunteers was launched. Last night, dozens of the volunteers continue searching the countryside, but they found no traces of her past the cemetery. So it's like she got in there and just disappeared. Basically, it goes on to state that at this time they were like, maybe she ran away. Maybe she was hiding and she was hiding for too long. Now she's afraid to come home because she'd be in trouble.
Oh.
Is what people, were saying.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a town of 1,200 people. So it's a very little bitty small town.
Yeah, very small town.
Yeah. So they said all these the search went on till the next night, and I think this is when they started taking, it a little more seriously. The mom said she was held up most of the day, calmly answering reporters' questions. Then 10 minutes before a bloodhound sent out that afternoon, that she bolted away from the crowd and collapsed, sobbing.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine what it feels like to lose your 6-year-old baby.
No.
Like that's still a baby.
Yeah. So I want to give a little bit on, it said this is on the 8th. So this is 3 days after she went missing. It said the police called off the search for the 6-year-old girl who disappeared from a mobile home park here Sunday. They made the announcement more than 2 days after Shannon was last seen playing with friends in the front yard of her mother's mobile home. Police and local volunteers using airplanes, helicopters, horses, and bloodhounds failed to find Shannon. So basically, after 3 days of like non-stop, searching, that's when they called off the search.
Is that common today? Like I feel like people still
Yeah.
look for people. That's only 3 days.
And I don't know if maybe because they were using helicopters and a bunch of resources and, people were
Mm.
volunteering their time. I know her dad made a comment that the town's support had made the ordeal more bearable. But standing in front of the mobile home amid Shannon's abandoned toys, he expressed frustration and helplessness. It's like the ground opened up and closed up, and she wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, just vanished.
Yeah, like in this little bitty small town. It's kind of bizarre.
It is. Because in a small
Yeah,
town like that, everybody knows everybody.
yeah. So I'm going to take you to December.
Mm.
She's still missing and hasn't been found. They were just kind of doing an interview with her mom, and it said Christmas gifts will be waiting in hopes that the 6-year old missing since October will return. I have no idea what could have happened to her. She said 1 minute she was there and the next she wasn't. It was as if, again, the ground opened up and she was gone. Um, we've gone to different cities and towns and interviewed more than 100 people, the police say, and everything is a dead end. It's like going around in a circle. We don't even have a good, clear cut, definite motive for her disappearance. Um, the policeman, his name is Campbell, he said, a father of two, said it's difficult for investigations as well as Shannon's family during the holidays. Like, we all realize this could happen again and it could happen to one of our own. We're all human and we know what we would be thinking and doing if this was ours.
Yeah.
So it's December and like nothing is turning up. She is still no clues, nothing to her whereabouts.
It's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine what that's like.
Mm-mm. The case goes cold. They never find her. I mean, the family always hopes, they'll find her, but there's no breaks in the case. There's no even people of interest. Like they don't even have any suspects.
It's like she fell into the
They
ground.
rule out the mom and dad. They both like passed lie detector tests and like was seen in the neighborhood. I know there was mention of like someone seen a red truck speeding out with a girl, but nothing was ever confirmed with that scenario.
Okay.
But we do go to all the way to July of 2003. A woman has contacted the family of 6-year-old girl who vanished in 1986, claiming that she may be the girl now, 22 years old. Shannon Marie Sherrill. So this lady contacted them. She claims she is Shannon Sherrill. The police, let the family know, but they were like, until we have concrete information, we can't like responsibly, they weren't going to share everything with the public yet. They
Yeah.
wanted to do like DNA and everything. I know both parents like submitted it immediately. But the mom was just, they were so excited. The mom was like, I'm ecstatic over the whole thing. I'm at a loss for words. She said, it's been a long time. She's like, it's okay for everyone to be excited.
This person better not have ill intentions.
This woman at the time, her name was Donna Walker, and she claimed to be Shannon. She emailed and called the Sherrill family, and she was sending photos, and the family like was excited. They believed her. They like couldn't wait to, finally meet her and like ask her all the questions. But it turned out to be like a big hoax. Like she was playing the family the whole time, and she was never their daughter. She was very
Why would a
ill.
person do such a thing?
That is
What
a good
a
question.
putrid person. Did
She
they?
actually got charged with it because she led on to them for a while, sending pictures, emails, phone calls. I mean, they were, they thought their daughter was coming back home. And she made it out to them like she was their daughter.
As a true evil person, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah. This person said, ever since Donna Walker was a child, friends say she has delighted in disrupting the lives of those around her. She has made prank phone calls to the police about like seeing an accident or domestic abuse. Like she has done this, I guess, her whole life. Like she loves getting in people's heads, and she just for some reason picked this family to say she was going to be the daughter.
What a piece of crap.
She got a warrant put out for her arrest. She surrendered, and she was charged with identity deception and false reporting in what the police called a cruel hoax. Authorities hope Walker's arrest will shed light on her motivation in committing the alleged hoax. We don't think it was financial, the Indiana State Police said. There was never any kind of request for money. So they just think it was out of being pure evil.
She was bored.
Mm-hmm.
She was just bored.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she read this story or something. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm kind of the same age that this girl would be. I'm going to pretend I'm this girl.
The mother said she was relieved to finally hear that she'd been arrested.
How much jail time do you get for that?
I don't
She
know.
probably didn't get any real jail time. She probably got a slap on the wrist and had to pick up trash on the side of the road.
This guy came forward and said that she conned him out of like $13,000, and she was very convincing. From what I've read, she's always been this type of person doing this type of stuff to people, which is crazy.
She's like that Inventing Anna girl on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever watch that one?
Yeah, I liked that show.
Me too. I thought it was good.
Okay, so that was 2003.
Okay, 2003.
So we fast forward to 2009. And authorities announce a possible break in the case. So in 2006, actually, a man named Jeffrey, and his last name, I can't pronounce it. It's like Sunny Kolb. But anyway, I'm just going to call him Jeffrey. He wrote the police department about Shannon's disappearance. He claimed to have information about the case. Jeffrey has been convicted of raping 2 children and sentenced to 50 years in prison. However, he has the reputation for providing credible information in unsolved murders. Police stated that they plan to interview Jeffrey and find out what, if anything, he knows about her case. So, what I read is this guy has even like got people caught because this is what he does. Like, it's always found credible what's he saying. So, when he gave this tip, so he's in a prison with other probably
People that may have said
mm-hmm.
something. So yeah, he's in prison as he's telling police this.
Yep.
Oh.
And he is convicted of raping 2 children, so he's probably around people that do terrible things like that. This guy named Jeffrey said this other guy who was in prison, and his name is David Penton. And he said that he knows that he's the one that killed Shannon. So they immediately start looking into this David Penton guy. And I know they like go and they interview him and they pull up his rap sheet. And it is not good. That's what I was going to go into that first.
Are you going to go into detail of some stuff?
Yeah, trigger warning.
Okay, yeah, give some
Yeah.
trigger warnings.
Okay, so David Penton is an American child molester and serial killer. He's probably known to be the biggest serial killer of children in the United States. Penton, an Ohio native and mechanic, was convicted of manslaughter in the child abuse death of his own infant son in 1984. During an appeal of his sentence, he fled and remained a fugitive until 1987. So from 1984 to 1987, he was on the loose after killing his own kid.
So we obviously don't have any record of him in between that time.
No. The Shannon case was 1986.
Mm-hmm. Right there in between that.
Yeah. So he was a fugitive until 1987 when he was charged and convicted with the murder of a friend's 9-year-old niece in Ohio. Penton was extradited to Texas in 2003 and charged with the deaths of 3 young Dallas area girls in the mid-1980s. Penton signed a plea agreement admitting to the murders. Officials in Texas and several other states are investigating the possibility Penton may be involved with other unsolved cases and suspect that he could be the most prolific child killer in American history. He was born an only child on February 9th, 1958 in Columbus, Ohio, and was raised by his mother after his father abandoned both David and his mother when he was a child. After graduating high school, he joined the U.S. Army in 1977, working as a track vehicle mechanic until 1984. He was an expert marksman and a soldier with an excellent record, who his commanding officer called highly motivated.
When did he kill his infant son? 1984 too? Like right after he got out of the army?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't waste any time to getting on the... He broke bad real fast.
So between 1984 and 1988, Penton is believed to have been responsible for the deaths of at least 5 individuals after killing his own son. Penton is believed to have murdered 3 girls in Dallas and another in Ohio. He's also suspected of 1 additional non-fatal abduction. He was charged with kidnapping and aggravated murder in Ohio in the case of 1988 and was convicted in 1990. In June 2003, Penton was indicted for murder in the deaths of the 3 Texas girls. He signed a plea deal to avoid the death penalty and pled guilty to all 3 cases in January 2005. Penton will remain imprisoned in the Ohio State Prison.
We can't say penitentiary.
Until he finishes his sentence, where he is eligible for parole in 2027. Penton will serve 3 consecutive life sentences in Texas. So it sounds like he'll be...
So as soon as he gets done in Ohio, he's going straight to Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so on November 23rd, 1984, while Penton was stationed at Fort Hood, he was charged with the death of his 2-month-old son.
He wasn't out of the army yet. Maybe that's why he left the army.
Yeah, it says county medical examiner told authorities that Penton violently shook his son to death in a fit of rage.
Jesus.
Because the child would not stop crying. And he pled guilty to manslaughter. But this is when he fled from Texas authorities. So then Christy Minks, 5, was abducted while outside her mother's apartment complex in Texas on January 19th, 1985. She was playing hide and seek with her older brother, who witnessed a man abduct his sister. On April 3rd, 1985, her body was found by 2 fishermen floating in Deer Haven Cove, which was a lake in Texas, and she was identified 2 weeks later. Minx had been raped and strangled to death. So she was 5 playing hide and go seek.
How disgusting of a person could do that to a 5-year-old?
I had never even heard of this guy before.
Me neither. See, that's the bad thing about stuff is this kind of stuff needs to be common knowledge. As rough as this is, we need to teach this shit in school. Because how do we just go our whole life not knowing that there was this guy raping and killing little kids in Ohio? That's close.
Oh, he gets closer.
Oh, gross.
On February 12th, 1986, 10-year-old Tiffany Ibarra was walking to Bodie Elementary School in Dallas, Texas, when she was abducted and then released by a young white man who had grabbed her on the sidewalk and pulled her into his van. After Proctor's abduction, police detectives contacted her, who described the suspect from a police sketch artist. She identified Penton, and Penton's van also matched her description of who was driving the van and who abducted her. So she did a sketch. They thought it looked like him. They showed, and she was like, "Yeah, that's him. That's his van."
Mm-hmm.
So she got away. So 3 days later, February 15th, Christina was 9, was reported missing in North Dallas by her family as she was walking from her apartment to a friend's house. She was presumably abducted while walking, and her skeletal remains were discovered beneath a mattress in a field in Texas on April 9th, 1988. He got convicted of that one. 4-year-old Roxanne Reyes was abducted behind her mother's home at an apartment complex she lived in, playing outside on November 3rd, 1987, while she was picking wildflowers for her mother, a 4-year-old. Her body was found on May 19th, 1988, in a vacant lot located in Murphy, Texas. She had been assaulted and strangled. A playmate saw Reyes get into a gray 4-door sedan with a man after he promised her ice cream and candy.
4 years old.
Picking wildflowers.
That's like just a little bit older than my nephew. Like that. There are some sick people in the world.
These are all the ones he's admitted and got convicted for. There was Nigel Ross, was 9, was reported missing from her aunt's home in Dayton, Ohio. On March 31st, 1988, her remains were found in a dry creek bed in Marion, Ohio on September 15th, 1988. Ross had been raped and strangled to death. So when Penton became a suspect in the disappearance of Ross, police seized his van and discovered traces of her blood on the floor. So this says in 2007, authorities announced they considered David Penton as a person of interest in the disappearance and murders of several other girls. Penton has made claims to killing more than 50 children, but law enforcement suspect the actual number is between 25 and 30. Oh, and by the way, he's still alive, and he said he is going to make like a tell-all book before he dies.
I hope all the proceeds to this book go to the families that you ruined.
Mm-hmm. And the 4 that he's suspected of, one is 6-year-old Shannon Sherrill. Peyton later told inmates that he abducted and murdered her. There's a 2-year-old.
A 2-year-old?
Named Amber Crum. She was last seen seated inside a pickup truck in Dallas, Texas on December 26, 1983. I guess she was sitting in the truck and her mother's boyfriend went inside the store for just a few minutes to run an errand, and when he returned, she was gone.
How do these people like find so many opportunities to take kids? They're just creeping around in the freaking bushes.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, I know he told people he did Shannon, but she is the only one that's in Indiana that he supposedly, as of the last I read, suspected of, but people reference him as the boogeyman.
Sounds like the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm. But another one was Aria Johnson. She was 5. She was last seen in her bedroom in her family's mobile home. The back door of the residence was open and a dark, it said, orange breadspit under which Aria was sleeping went missing with her. And Pinton was known to be in the area at that time of her abduction and allegedly mentioned her case to a cellmate, which prompted investigators to look into the possibility involvement in her case. So he said he did that one. She was 5. So they think it's between 25 and 30. He says it's at least 50.
I mean, why aren't we taking his word for it?
I don't know. But that one led like to a crazy place when he was a suspect because I had never heard of him and he is a true monster. I don't know why he's still alive.
I've never heard of him either. I need to find his picture. Is he David Elliott Pinton?
Mm-hmm.
What a freaking creep.
Mm-hmm.
How did he even get little kids to get in his vehicle? He's creepy looking. He's not even that old. He's only a year older than my parents. So, I mean, he's probably still got quite a ways to go, which he doesn't look good. That's all I'll say.
I just think it's crazy that he fled from authorities for killing his 2-month-old son and then committed a spree of child murders in between not getting caught because he was...
That's another thing of the justice system. I feel like I'll say it a million times. We need to be more harsh on people. I get it. He didn't have any background before that.
Mm-hmm.
And him killing his son, unfortunately, a lot of people have killed their kids by shaking them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get it. They didn't think he was going to turn into a serial killer and rapist of little kids. But I don't get why we let people that have killed another person, no matter the circumstances, we let them live outside of a jail cell. Especially when, like, you're figuring out their sentence.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
So I did want to mention this. There is a book out there about him, and it's called Boogeyman. He was every parent's nightmare.
Ooh.
And it's by Steve Jackson. And it has 4.3 stars, but he describes the details of all of his horrific crimes. And he's also an award-winning journalist, so I haven't read it yet, but I think I'm going to because I just want to, I don't know. I had never heard about him before.
Me neither. I literally never heard this name before in my life.
Yeah.
Good thing he got picked up before we were kids. Crying out loud.
I mean, he was taking kids just playing outside. That's how he got most of them. Just saw them outside playing for a second and you're gone.
I just don't get how that little girl was playing hide and seek with 6 kids and they
There's
didn't
10
see
kids.
anything. 10 kids.
They said she was there and then she was just gone. Yeah, and I need to look. I mean, I know that person said he was bragging about doing it. That's why his name got mentioned. But I wonder in the book if there's any detailed record of him being in Indiana around that time frame, more than that guy just saying he did this,
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like he was mostly in Texas and Ohio, which Ohio and Indiana aren't that far apart.
No.
I need to look at where, do you know where Thorntown, Indiana is?
I have no idea. Where is it in Indiana?
That's what I'm looking. Population 1,520.
Wow. I'm trying to compare that to a town.
It's not too far from Indianapolis.
Okay.
At all. Like, it's in between, if this makes sense to you, Indianapolis and Lafayette. It looks like it's on, like, if you would head from Indy to Lafayette, you would go through the town.
And Lafayette's kind of like, what, northwest of Indianapolis a little bit?
So I was thinking this town was, like, far away from us. It wasn't. Just a couple hours.
Oh.
I know. When I read that she went missing playing hide and go seek, I'm like, What kind of scary story is that?
That gave me the heebie-jeebies when you said
Mm-hmm.
it, because I was thinking, my brain automatically went to like,
Nighttime.
well, yeah, to nighttime. And plus, there was some kind of something I watched one time of a a woman. I think it was a woman. She was cleaning her attic or something and ended up getting stuck in the wall of her house. And
Did that really happen?
yeah, and she died. And no one knew where she was. And it was like a while before they actually realized she was inside the wall.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we'll have to look into
Yeah,
that
and
one. But
people were saying like, could she have like accidentally like a little kid smushing into an area to
yeah,
hide
that's how my
and
brain
get
automatically
stuck?
went. Yeah.
But with her scent, with them bloodhounds taking it to the cemetery, and it just,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's stuck somewhere.
No, but when you
But
first
no,
said it, that's the
yeah,
first thing that came to my mind
yeah.
was getting somewhere. But yeah, after everything you said, no, I don't. Yeah, I think
No, but
someone took
he
her.
is an absolute monster.
We may have to do like a bonus episode or something going a little deeper into this guy too, because
Mm-hmm.
oh
No, I definitely want to get that book. I'll probably like just listen to it. I'll buy the
yeah,
audio version. I don't have time to sit down and read, but I can listen to it when I drive. No, I just wonder what kind of details are in the book. I'm sure, I haven't even looked. I'm sure there's podcast about him too. I just have never heard of him.
me neither.
To be the most prolific, I was like, I've never even heard that name. And he's
No,
still alive.
and he's gross looking.
He's disgusting.
Oh my gosh, do you ever wonder if people like him, that are still alive in prison, that they look their own name up on a regular basis and look to see if anybody's doing
Mm-hmm.
anything and then like possibly listen to this?
Yeah.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies too.
They're narcissistic, so
I'm
they probably love when people talk about
oh
them.
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, he's sick, but if he did do a tell all, I would hope he was truthful for those families, who don't really
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
They did say, and I forgot to mention this, that her dad didn't miss a single day of work in 10 years because he had hoped that his little girl would walk back through the door of the gas station that he owned.
Just always in the back of your mind, maybe she'll
And
show up today.
her mom kept her same phone number and lives in the same house.
Oh, I think I would do the same. Cuz you never know, like
Yeah.
she might want to call me and she'll call me the day after I change my phone number
Right.
or I move.
That's what my brain would do too.
Yeah. So I get that for sure. I absolutely get that. Yeah, I'll have to look to see if I can find any other
But
podcasts.
that Donna Walker, she was a piece of shit too. The one who, are we allowed to say that? No.
Yeah, we can. Have you listened to Morbid?
The one that faked being their daughter.
Yeah, I know that's another kind of evil.
She claims to have personality disorders.
Well, hopefully they got her some help because she
Mm-hmm.
obviously needs it. For
Mm-hmm.
crying out loud.
And I will say the person that he told that stuff to, and I'm sorry because my brain just stuff starts sparking in my head, that he told a story of a shoeless little girl in an Indiana trailer park. So I don't know if he maybe saw the news, you know what I mean? But he quoted that she was shoeless, the girl that he took and kidnapped. So it's just, you don't know.
And you even don't know at this point either, like, even if he does do a tell all book and he includes her in it, is he being honest?
Mm-hmm. Like,
Unless he
where is
tells us,
she?
yeah, unless he tells us where she is and that's where she
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe it. Yeah, because they've still never found her body. But it's just weird because the other ones, it didn't seem, he was very careless. He was just leaving them
He
like
probably
they were
just got
nothing.
lucky with this one or
Yeah,
something.
but that's all.
Oh, that one, I hate that one. Ones that involve kids too are
Mm-hmm.
just the worst.
They are. They're terrible.
Yeah. So next week, I'm actually going to be bringing a case that's across the state border in Kentucky.
Yay. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, it's this is a very heavily covered case. Like there's a lot of podcasts on it. It's in the news. They've had all kinds of stuff on Oxygen and Investigation Discovery over this case, and it is still active, so we will not have a conclusion at the end of the episode, but we will keep tabs on it.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's a big one.
And this one, I will say, I'm not going into it blindly because I had listened to a podcast about this case, but it was a long time ago. So I'm sure I forgot some.
There's a lot that's happened too
Yeah.
since you listened to
Yeah,
that podcast.
I listened to it a long time ago and I was into it. So
Yeah.
when you brought it up, I was like, oh my gosh, because at that time I listened to it, they didn't have like any, nothing going on. So I'm really excited to hear what Emily has to say.
Yeah, so we're going to be covering the case of Crystal Rogers from Bardstown, Kentucky. And like I said, there's going to be a lot to it. I'm excited to tell you her story. And yeah, let's dig into this one because I think there's a lot of conspiracies. I think there's a lot of who did it. And I think we'll all have different opinions. I'm sure even Whitney and I will have different opinions on.
There's a lot of twists and turns.
There is. So we're excited about that. But thank you guys for listening. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on Facebook and Spotify, and head on over to Patreon and join us over there. Yes. And yeah, we will catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.